times what it's called. Uh, it's a kind of a derogatory term. When I looked it up in different translations, it came up with the different things, but it just basically means that no good person over there that just kind of keeps doing annoying things. What's interesting is that he's actually from the tribe of Benjamin. Some of this could be, in fact, because Benjamin lifted up Saul because he was one of their men. So this, in fact, that the person, it does take note, was from the tribe of Benjamin, which kind of had a little bit of a rivalry with the David and even his sons after that. Would you read verse 3, please?
Now David came to his house at Jerusalem, and the king took the 10 women, his concubines, whom he had left to keep the house, and put them in seclusion and supported them, but did not go into them. So they were shut up to the day of their death, living in widowhood.
This is actually better than most women who were concubines would have been treated if the same thing had happened to them in any other nation at that time. Most of the time they'd be killed. They'd served their usefulness, and since they had been with someone else, you killed them. They were useless at that point. And so for him to actually set them aside as basically, I'm not going to sleep with you, but I am actually going to take care of you, shows a lot of, what would the word be? Honor? Something of that nature, that David, in fact, is willing to take care of them as if they were widows. Why did he do that instead of killing them? He's a decent person? I don't know exactly, but that's probably the way it was. It would not have looked right for him to actually take them back as concubines. As it was, his son sleeping with his concubines was a one-up on his father, and so the fact that that happened, he wants to distance himself from the whole situation. So, I think that's all that's all I had from that. Would you read verse 4 and 5, please?
And the king said to Amasa, assemble the men of Judah for me within 3 days, and be present here yourself. So Amasa went to assemble the men of Judah, but he delayed longer than the set time which David had appointed him.
Amasa takes longer than the king prescribed for him to assemble the army. He delayed for putting down the rebellion. There was still a rebellion going on. This is a big deal, as if the king can't put down the rebellion right away, it can kind of grow out of control or get roots in places where it really shouldn't. So this is not a very good thing that his nephew has done, and he was in the rebels before with Absalom. Read through verse 7, please.
And David said to Abishai, now Sheba the son of Bichri will do us more harm than Absalom. Take your Lord's servants and pursue them, lest he find for himself fortified cities and escape us. So Joab's men, with the Kerethites, the Pelethites, and all the mighty men, went out after him. And they went out of Jerusalem to pursue Sheba, the son of Bichri.
This is almost a preemptive strike. He sees that Sheba is basically setting himself up as a way, whether that's to be more like during the time of the judges where they just had no king, or whether that is more to the lines of putting himself up as king. We're not really told in the scripture. There's not enough context. But either way, it is some type of rebellion. Can you read 8 through 10, please?
When they were at the large stone which is in Gibeon, Amasa came before them. Now Joab was dressed in battle armor. On it was a belt with a sword fastened in its sheath at his hips. As he was going forward, it fell out. Then Joab said to Amasa, "Are you in health, my brother?" And Joab took Amasa by the beard with his right hand to kiss him. But Amasa did not notice the sword that was in Joab's hand, and he struck him with it in the stomach, and his entrails poured out on the ground, and he did not strike him again. Thus he died. Keep going.
I may have said that wrong. Stop there. Thank
Okay.
you. This is the third time that he has killed a close relative or someone that he may have should have not killed. You have Abner, you have this man, you have Asahel, and then you have, what's his name? Yeah, Abner. Yeah, he killed Abner, and then he killed the guy with the long hair that just died in the tree that I've just lost the name, Absalom. And this is the third time he's killed someone. Two of them being his cousins. I think this was, and if you look into it, there are two trains of thought by people who read this and do more research than I do even. The one is, in fact, it's because that he is perceived as some type of traitor because he's not assembling the troops fast enough. Okay, that's one. I don't tend to agree with that, but it is a legitimate thing, so I'll bring it up. The other line of thinking is that Joab is, in fact, jealous that he got, get pushed down. You're going to be a lower rank, this person's going to be a higher rank than you. And so that he killed him because he didn't think that was right. Now, I tend to be in that camp because I think that was not to the level of killing somebody for being later than you were supposed to be. But I do bring them both up because both are valid reasons. Would you read through 13?
Then Joab and Abishai, his brother, pursued Sheba, the son of Bichri. Meanwhile, one of Joab's men stood near Amasa and said, "Whoever favors Joab and whoever is for David, follow Joab." But Amasa wallowed in his blood in the middle of the highway. And when the man saw that all the people stood still, he moved Amasa from the highway to the field and threw a garment over him. When he saw that everyone who came upon him halted. When he was removed from the highway, all the people went on after Joab to pursue Sheba, the son of Bichri.
I find this a bit gruesome, also a bit funny. He basically takes one of his men and says, "Hey, stand over the corpse and tell the people as they come along to go follow us after him. Don't worry about the dead general that's sitting in the middle of the road." Well, all the people just start stopping there, even though he set up this man to say this, because they're like, what's going on? Why is he just wallowing there in his own blood? And so he tries covering him up with a garment to be like, kind of hide this thing, like, I'm just going to hide him. That didn't work. And so then he has to take him off into probably some field or the woods or something so that people aren't going, why is there a corpse just sitting there in the middle of the road? I think that he had to cover up the sin that he was probably feeling guilty of at this point. There is no, in fact, thing saying that David told Joab to kill him or anything like that I am aware of, at least in the Bible. Read 14 through 15, please. 14 and 15.
And he went through all the tribes of Israel to Abel and Beth Maacah and all the Berites. So they were gathered together and also went after Sheba. Then they came and besieged him in Abel of Beth Maacah, and they cast up a siege mound against the city, and it stood by the rampart. And all the people who were with Joab battered the wall to throw it down.
So a siege works, they basically are building a ramp so that they can bring their siege works right up to it and try to break through the wall. This was probably how they broke down most walls to get into cities, is a siege works right next to the wall. The base of a wall usually is really thick, but as you get up higher and higher, usually it gets thinner and thinner. It's just easier to build them that way, especially in this time period. So probably that's why they had the rampart up to it. Oh, and they wanted to kill him. Would you please read through 21?
Then a wise woman cried out from the city, "Here, here! Please say to Joab, 'Come nearby, that I may speak with you.' When he had come near to her, the woman said, 'Are you Joab?' He answered, 'I am.' Then she said to him, 'Hear the words of your maidservant.' And he answered, 'I am listening.' So she spoke, saying, 'They used to talk in former times, saying, they shall surely seek guidance at Abel, and so they would end disputes. I am among the peaceable and faithful in Israel. You seek to destroy a city and a mother in Israel. Why would you swallow up the inheritance of the Lord?' And Joab answered and said, 'Far be it from me that I should swallow up or destroy. That is not so. But a man from the mountains of Ephraim, Sheba, the son of Bichri by name, has raised his hand against the king, against David. Deliver him only, and I will depart from the city.' So the woman said to Joab, 'Watch, his head will be thrown to you over the wall.'"
Yeah. So this woman's basically like, at this point, if you're resisting, which they may or may not have been at this point, up until this point, a lot of times they would just kill everyone in the city or kill a lot of people in the city. That's why this woman is basically like, "Hey, why are you besieging our city? We've been faithful to you. What's going on?" And he's like, "I just want the one dude. This is negotiating." And she's like, I'm gonna go get that for you, because she's like, one person for a whole city, I'm willing to do that. What's interesting is that in Jewish tradition, they actually talk a lot about this, on whether the woman was justified in killing the one man to save the whole city or not. If you look in a lot of the Jewish texts which talk about Scripture, this is actually brought up a lot on whether to kill one person is justified to save so many. I got on a big rabbit trail with that, so I just thought I'd mention it here. Yeah, that's everything. So could you read through 22, please?
Then the woman in her wisdom went to all the people, and they cut off the head of Sheba, the son of Bichri, and threw it out to Joab. Then he blew a trumpet, and they withdrew from the city, every man to his tent. So Joab returned to the king at Jerusalem.
At this point, Joab is like, well, I'm done. She gives Joab what he wants, and Joab doesn't destroy the city, or at least it's not mentioned, so I must assume he didn't destroy the city. This was solved diplomatically, basically kill one person who's a troublemaker, rebel, to save a whole city. So this is it's kind of implied by the writing of the thing, this rebel, or whatever word you want to use there, and a wise woman. So even within the text itself, it does seem to indicate that she was, in fact, wise or shrewd in her dealings. Would you please read 23 through 20 to the end of the chapter?
And Joab was over all the army of Israel. Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was over the Kerethites and Pelethites. Adoram was in charge of revenue. Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, was recorder. Shiva was scribe. Zadok and Abiathar were the priest. And Ira, the Jerite, was a chief minister under David.
Good job. I won't make you read it, but if you care, there is actually a second reading which has almost all the same positions written out, but it is in fact Absalom's rebellion. It is in fact in chapter 8, verse 15. And you can look through it, and a lot of the positions are the same, but some of them have actually changed. This could be because they were in the rebellion, or they died in battle, or that this is just an updating of roster, basically. You actually see a lot more of this type of stuff in Chronicles. Chronicles has a lot. This person is over this position, and they take care of this, and this person's... It's more of that in Chronicles, but this is, in fact, an example of, how shall I say it, bookkeeping? Basically, roster of who's at what position in there. So that is, in fact, what I had for chapter 20. Questions, statements, don't throw anything.